What's up? What's up? I'm watching indices this morning. I'm just not. If I get something I really like, I'll look for a trade opportunity. But I just think we're at super key levels. And one thing I was kind of looking at on the daily charts yesterday is when we're this close to these levels. Obviously, I would expect these highs to get breached. That's first and foremost. I would look for that. But everything's right at all these critical levels. The Nasdaq's sitting inside of an imbalance above these equal highs. US 30 still has some room to run. S&P is right under these equal highs, so we're at a lot of key levels. I don't think that we're going to get some kind of immediate insane expansion. Who knows? I could be wrong. But what I would look for is something similar to this. Right, the last time we came up into a key level, which was just this daily order block, we consolidated, and it seems like a fake bear flag, so to speak, that market makers created in order to induce the retail narrative to buy, and then of course they dumped. We could see something like that. I mean, we can always try to speculate, but I'm more about just waiting till the market shows us its hand and reacting. One thing I am watching though, for this morning for the S&P, I'm not really looking at the Nasdaq as usual. I like this zone here for a potential reversal. Now, we'll be pretty, like I said, I'm not going to force anything unless I really like it. I would just be looking to take it up to the equal highs. But, again, we're not going to force anything here. So as we hang out, I'm going to grab some coffee, but I am going to be kind of just chilling on this chart. I might do some other charts, but I want to, it's right around that time in the morning. So if we can catch a setup live, I'd like to do it. But give me a second while I go grab this coffee. I will be right back. Alrighty, much better. Now I got some coffee. So, yeah, US 30. I've noticed, I mean, I would entertain something in this zone, but really, US 30 plays better, in my opinion, with supply and demand. It almost trades um, cleaner. I mean, we see these really early morning lick raids, like right here, into these imbalances that provide pre market opportunities. So, yeah, that's at like 6 in the morning, though. So, US 30s, it's different. It trades like almost like a Forex pair. Um, But, actually, I would just mark this whole zone because I think that's a 15-minute order block, or not order block, fair value gap. I would entertain this. So what I'll do is for this, I'll just set an alert since it's not down there. And TradingView can't seem to get their shit together to get both my charts right if I watch two. So I'm just gonna um, watch one at a time. Wanted to see USD because I know I looked at it this morning, yeah, and it looked rough, which this would be good for the bulls. It seemed like it just kind of peeped these highs real quick. I can't tell if it actually did or not, actually. Let me see. It's 108.93, 943. Yeah, it pipped those highs. Impulsive move away from that. Oops, wrong thing. So that's good. Now we are kind of like in the liquidity objective for that move, just on the 4-hour chart. Yeah, but we could definitely move a little farther down into a premium or a discount of this impulse move, maybe somewhere here. But this is really the first imbalance I see. Overall order flow seeming to be bullish recently, but this little lick rate, depending on how we react from this, that will tell us a lot. So what I'm looking for here on SPY is a break above a low time frame swing high with displacement. So for instance, if we can get a nice push, above this, or let's say we kind of go down, usually we'll make a little couple drives down, but if we can get a nice push above any of these highs, even if it's not, one thing I want to say about playing these setups is a lot of people think you have to come down, take the low for this to be a high. This could, very well do this number. And if it just takes a high, it doesn't have to be, our technical high that created a new low or a strong high. Just any high, any candle that has a candle to the left that's lower and a candle to the right that's lower. That's all I'm looking for. That alert set, yeah, it did. If anybody wants to unmute their mics as well, please feel free to do so. I'd rather people talk than just sit here. I know that some people can't for whatever reason, but
A dog?
what's up, Bill? How you doing? If you shorted at 10 a.m. this morning, you're up.
What's good, Casper?
What's good?
Chilling.
Fucking taking all the bookies' money.
Yep.
How long have you been sports betting?
Like a year and a half.
Hell yeah. Do you just do you actually watch all this shit, or you just kind of know what's up? Like you just play the game?
Well, I started with hockey because I played hockey my whole life, so that shit was light. And then I just fucking started watching sports. Like I don't watch like the tennis shit basically because I don't know, fuck tennis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You said you play hockey? You're probably from somewhere up north, or no?
Yeah, I'm from New York.
Oh hell yeah. What part?
Long Island.
Hell yeah. That's what's up. You don't have
Well,
that
I
New
mean,
York accent though.
yeah, I know. Because I lived in Canada for like 5 years.
Oh hell yeah.
Is Iron Mike in here?
I don't see him. I don't think so. Let me see. Nope.
And you guys watch the Yahoo coverage of the stock market, like live, the YouTube?
No, I've never.
It's pretty decent, but they just had the head of Uber Freight on. That is the craziest fucking thing. He's talking about like last minute pickups with no drivers, just autonomous, or however you say that. Sorry.
Autonomous? Yeah, no, I know what you meant. Yeah, Uber Freight, those motherfuckers are a pain in the ass to work with. I remember working with them sometimes, but that idea, that's where they'll come in crazy is when that starts. I think that's probably their whole plan overall.
That's got to be like, I see a lot more problems than more good that can come out of that, but it is a crazy idea for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. So it looks like we might get what we're looking for, because what I want to see mainly is once we get a displacement break of structure and we close nice, it's going to be a 3-candle formation, so it's no need to rush. Really the first check is getting a break of structure there with displacement, which we're seeing right now. Preferably get a closure. way it's not like looking like a liquidity raid. And then another candle will close after it, and then we'll form a fair value gap.
Dude, why can't I hear a fucking thing?
You still can't hear? I guess not. So now we'll let this candle close. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to hop in here. So we're close enough to this fair value gap for me. So that's a 7.5 stop loss. I'm rushing to try to signal it. That'll probably be the only trade I take today too. I'll just chill on that and see how it goes. But yeah, if anybody has any so that's kind of what I was waiting on, was that to review exactly why I took that long. Is the daily bias is that we need to raid these equal highs, right? We're looking at that as our draw on liquidity, or I am at least. So looking at 15-minute in the morning, we saw a push down, and we raided that low into a fair value gap. Also, I guess this would be a higher time frame demand zone, and then the high right here was taken. Right, it's not the major high. I guess both of them really were, but we had our fair value gap. So, we entered a little higher. It was, I think it's 2 pips or a pip and a half higher. So that was fine for me. You could have waited. Now, the way some people play it is they wait for equilibrium of this fair value gap, or they might wait for the fill of it, or they'll use the demand zone, or maybe, whatever you do, you just got to do it all the time. So me, if it's within 1 to 3 pips, I'll just take it. It looks like that little order block here may have been the sniper entry, I guess. But so, and just stops under the recent low. Sometimes the only thing about these, sometimes you'll get stopped on it, it'll go again, but that's kind of the decisional point for me, because you can always see it move to the downside or maybe move up to the upside, and the impulse move in the morning. If there's maybe like a massive imbalance or something, sometimes it'll just come down and stop you out. But I just execute whenever it's there, so we'll see how it goes. So I said, do I like Nas here as well? Yeah, I mean, I think that Nas almost looks like it does. I mean, I could see it wanting higher, but for me, it's just like SPX and US 30 is like here. So it's kind of like, I mean, take it as you will. I'm not saying they won't do well, but I would look at NOS as the more likely option. I mean, sorry, SPX. I don't want to confuse anybody. It's a nice little reaction off our zone down here. We didn't enter off that, of course. We entered right here. Trying to see what kind of RR is that right there. You can take some profits there if you'd like. And then right there. And also, the reason I was looking for this at the time when we got on it, it usually occurs around this time if it's going to happen. You know, if we get that reversal, it'll happen around this time, anywhere between like 9:45 and 11. What's Bitcoin doing? Shitting the bed. Yeah, it's super weak here. Still gotta make this infographic. Let me go to a different chart. You know, you would have thought, I mean, this is just solidifying what I've been thinking, is just this 3 drive right here. Just absolute raids on liquidity, inducing longs. Money's getting cycled, profits are getting cycled. All the FOMO retail buyers are trying to get in because they feel like they've missed the next Bitcoin Bitcoin thing. Oh, somebody said ETH short range. Here, I'll peep that real quick. Maybe some up there. I don't know. I barely pipped that high, but I guess, I mean, it pipped it, so. Could have seen something up in that region. I can't say I would have taken it. About stopped you out. If you had spreads with the actual set stop, you probably got stopped because Ethereum spreads are pretty rough. But where's my tool? I would have looked at it like, it's the same thing kind of we're just playing. You know, that low was taken with displacement. The displacement's really the key factor. You could look at, okay, well, what fair value gap is, this is a pretty big move, is in a premium. So you could have said, you know, the first one in a premium you take should be that. You'd have gotten entered in something like this. Now, if you use this, you would have got stopped out. If you use this with the spread, like if you actually had a set stop loss, you also would have gotten stopped out. But risk to reward with the spread would not have been that great for me, just because if I'm playing like the 15-minute liquidity raids, looks like SPY is moving. Hold on. Okay, nice little move so far. If we could break above that first take profit nicely, that'll be pretty bullish, just because we have this these equal highs right here and then this imbalance. It's the only thing that I see it's really an obstacle. But back to Ethereum. Yeah, I mean, it would have played out, I guess, but for me, Ethereum, I have to be swinging it, or at least be playing a higher time frame, because the pips, it's like I'm like literally my spread, it'll put me in $4 from where it actually is, which is a lot. But when you say ETH short range, I'm not sure exactly. If you want to elaborate more, we can go into it. If anything, I do see a lot of equal highs, but that's the same thing with Bitcoin. That's why I think, if we don't start to see some kind of reaction, like really where we're at, or at the most this low, we're going to go down back into this imbalance and possibly even lower, just because, if smart money's not buying up these lows at all, then I don't really even see necessarily a reason that these highs are going to get taken first. Even though that's what I was hoping for. I wanted these highs to get taken. But again, everything's at a lot of key levels. So it's like, I'm not rushing anything. To me, the daily is showing clear desire to draw down. And this low could be of interest. But if we don't see a reversal there, I would really look down in this area, all of these lows.
Yo,
What's up?
bro, I've been watching you on Twitter for like 20 minutes, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm over here cleaning up the crib. I didn't even realize you
Oh,
were
shit,
live
it's
on
Trey.
Discord.
What's up, Trey?
Yeah,
How you doing?
I'm wonderful, fam. How are you?
Shit, I'm good. Just sipping some coffee.
Streaming?
Yup.
Yeah, I'm cleaning up my kitchen right now, listening to you, dog.
Hell yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't know. Bitcoin, it just looks like the sell side's clearly being, that's what's being sought after by market makers. I mean, these lows hold interest too. Nice setups happening really early morning. Like there was a nice setup right there. I wasn't on the charts at that time. This is actually much cleaner in my opinion than ETH, but you got to look somewhere like in here. And your targets would have been a bit lower because that was a higher time frame clear raid. So after that, it's like a 3 drive. I would just look for the major low down here, right there. That would have been a pretty nice opportunity, but again, I wasn't on the charts at that time. Bitcoin's been moving it's been moving cleaner than a lot of stuff recently as far as with liquidity raids. That would have been a really nice trade. But it still looks like even more downside. Yeah, SPX saw a little bit of reaction off these highs right here. We'll see. I mean, really, we could even still come down on the fair value gap, but the thing about these trades is sometimes they get really choppy, and you just got to let your your stop loss and your take profits do their job, and let the markets do their let the market do the hard work for you. They said BNB. I still would rather have these highs taken right here. It's just odd to me that those are getting preserved. I mean, if they get preserved, that would be bullish in the long run, like later down the road. I like this right here a lot on BNB. Oh. Damn, Bill. Man's hawking loogies. This fucking guy. But you got these equal lows right here. And then you got a daily imbalance right there. So that holds a lot of interest for me on BNB. I'll actually set an alert for that. Because if you get under that and you do hold bullish, I would look for these equal highs. Because they're being preserved for a reason. Now they might get tagged first. I don't know. We'll see. But that would be the narrative that I would see, is come down, liquidate, these late longs, then liquidate the shorts, and then start to move down for the true move. That was an old alert. Another pair I was looking at that I think setup's developing on is USD Swissy. Now, it's coming up and filling this imbalance. This morning gave a nice little entry here. It's crazy. It's coming right back. US dollar is gaining value, but well, not really that crazy. But this pair is like max manipulation, because, like, for instance, price came up and it really did get a break of strike. This is why displacement is key. We look, here, Price got to break a structure, but not with displacement, right? So then what happened? Price came up and wicked out all those early shorts, and then it got another break, but nothing's really like clear. It's almost like compressed. Now in the 5-minute, there was an opportunity, but the targets weren't really. There's sell side liquidity here, and then there's also equal lows right here. It looks like that's what it reacted off of, and that was what I was afraid of. If you look, it would have been something like this plus spreads on this pair is not the greatest. It wouldn't even have been 2R, probably 1.5 after spread, but above these highs, if it starts to sell off, there might be an opportunity there. I don't really trade Forex after kill zone though, so I'll just wait till tomorrow and see how it's played out. Euro, Bags, are you still on those shorts, by the way? I don't know if he's here. I know he was in these shorts. But sorry, I was reading something. Euro seems to be just clearly just down only right now. I think all these lows are being seeked. You can see longs, but take profits pretty aggressively. This pair, it's starting to move cleaner again. There for a while, it was just like fucking ridiculous. Did this clear? 27, yeah, it did clear that barely. That happened in London. Yeah. And right there. Really, liquidity rates and fair value gaps is all you need, especially with Forex. Do I hold on to any coin for long term and spot? I have a little Litecoin, but oh, I see Bags, you tagged me. Well, not really right now, personally. Not even gonna cap. I have no idea how you put 8 pips stop loss in FTMO. Do you have the price? LMAO. I'm not on FTMO, but 8 pips is like just 8. Okay, so it was $8, I should say, but this price is not going to be the same as FTMO, but just under the lows. So like, it would be like just what these lows minus another dollar. I think it's actually less than 8. It's like 7.5, but still. So there's a 5-minute little fair value gap here too. I mean, NOS is giving the setup, but for me, I'm just like, it's not my daily bias with NOS is like, this is when I'm just kind of chilling because I could see it pulling up. I mean, who knows? We could come all the way up to these highs, but once we clear equal highs, I usually want to give it like a day or two to like decide because if we let's just say we have another bullish day here, that'll tell me that we're drawing higher up, that these highs weren't the overall objective. Somebody asked, can I check? To me, NOS was overextended and SPY and Dow are catching up. Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I agree. That's why I'm not like messing with it right now, but I could see it go higher. That's the crazy thing. Like, I mean, like I said, if we get a strong daily close here, I mean, I would look for the minimum this imbalance, and if not higher, but we'll see. Because this is where you're like really breaching, like where I'm like, okay, holy shit. So CHC. This one in a minute. Yeah, it definitely had a rally. I would monitor it. I mean, this is it's like that is what I was talking about, like with knots. See how he came above those highs, and it just is like pushing, right? So it's going up towards something else. Let's look on a weekly. So now you're starting to. Why is that not? I want to show. So this is where you're probably what drawing into is that weekly imbalance. I would probably look for price to consolidate and then show you its hand. I wouldn't really force anything here because you're at that key level where that weekly draw is met. You know, the daily, you've cleared out these equal highs. If you look at that as a supply zone, I'm sure on a lower time frame it probably is some kind of flip zone. But you know, looking at this, you've got an imbalance right there. And also, I think that some of these alts they've made really big moves, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of it get retraced as they usually do. So I wouldn't FOMO into anything like this. Usually once you see something that like had a big pump, it's like it's over. You know what I mean? Like if something has a massive rally, if anything, look for like what is it drawing to, and then look for those signs that it's reversing. You know what I mean? Don't try to like participate, which I'm sure you're not, but just for thought for anyone listening. Gold, did it clear the lows yet? Dude, I swear, gold is the most like fucking manipulated shit, dude. It's crazy. Like it does like the weekly. It's fucking. It's like it's comedy. It really is. Like it's legitimate comedy. How this? I mean, it's fun to trade intraday, but I only scalp it for that reason. Like, imagine if you were swinging something, and you swung it like I don't know from up here and targeted that and weren't paying attention. It just rallies. It could still clear the lows for sure, but. How was that trade I took yesterday? I think we reviewed that, didn't we? Just a liquidity raid setup on gold. Simple thing, like the same setup that we've been looking for in quite a few different things. But oops. Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of this right here, so I'm just kind of chilling. Why is that one candle the SSL on USD franc? For this time frame, I just look at it as the last clean low where price impulsively moved away. Now, one could say it was down here, but for me, I look at it like there was a pretty clear push. Price came back down and these imbalances pushed away, so there's probably going to be some stops resting there. Now, I mean, theoretically, we could really move it. You could actually move it to in this area, just because now the last move that I'm just looking for the last areas that like we made an impulsive push off of. That's really it. It's moving crazy this morning. I guess not even really morning anymore, but USD CAD. I wouldn't really count on that candle getting hit. If anything, I would watch price and decide this fair value gap. So ideally, I'd want to have it front ran by a high first. If we go to like a lower time frame, there's probably there's an order block there. Anytime you have wicks like this, like see how there's like this buy to sell, that's usually some form of supply. So if you're looking at it from perspective of supply and demand, you could look at it for an entry in this area as well. But I kind of want this. We'll see how it develops. Now, let's just say we push down a little bit, and that's more in a premium, and we start to consolidate and there's a high formed above this area and we run that high into it, that's more what I would be when I would entertain it. But for me, really, I almost require a lick rate at this point. It doesn't have to be a high time frame lick rate, but I want some kind of liquidity and stop rate to be in play for me to want to participate. But I like this setup. I mean, overall, my daily bias, which it's odd, it's kind of, oops. I wanted this high to get taken right here because it seems like we pushed up. I don't know what else we'd be drawing to. I mean, I wouldn't consider any of this much liquidity here. I mean, on the 4 hour, yeah. If you look at the 4 hour, it's kind of giving those supply and demand confirmations. But if anything, if I look to take those shorts, I would look to take them maybe down into this imbalance here because it seems like that's, if we close a day like this, price seems like it wants to push down for whatever reason. GRT, yeah, sure. Somebody tag me, I heard it. GBP USD was a lot. My bad, Oscar. I promise you guys. If y'all can, please put it in the late night crypto vibes, like the actual chat, because I feel bad. I'll get off stream, and then there's like shit in trading stream, crypto chat, all different streams, and I just can't. I won't see them all. There's no way. But I want to be able to answer everything. GRT. Okay. Guess we charted this recently or somewhat. What is this from? I think it was a daily institutional candle. Went a little deeper. See, like this was the actual point of interest. Also, someone said, can I check AVAX? Oh, there's so many different fucking chats going right now. So just to clarify, because if you go to, like, go over to the voice chat we're in, like literally on top of where it says, not stream chat, but where it's late night crypto vibes, there's literally a messenger box on it. I know it's kind of weird. Where Grijalv, you just got it right. But I'll do GRT and then I'm gonna do AVAX. So looks like it followed somewhat to went over down below this zone. It's been a while. Definitely drew up into that daily imbalance. Came up into this daily supply, probably a weekly imbalance here. Maybe not. Weekly order block or weekly supply zone right there. We could refine it, I guess, but seems like definitely had a nice reaction off of that. So we are back down in this imbalance. So we're at a potential area where we could reverse and delete this. Oh, I put the damn, hold on. I don't know how that did that, but we are in a potential imbalance, or I mean potential reversal zone inside this imbalance. Not really any, it's not showing much strength here. So it's not something you want to just say we're going to bounce. You don't want to just expect that. But it is starting to compress a little bit here. So really what I'd be looking for, also it looks like you're coming down to this little sell to buy range on a 4 hour. It's a pretty wide range, so I'm going to refine that. I like this right here. Okay, that's what it hit off of. As I say, and the reason I like this, we've talked about this in the, why we select, certain POIs. But see how this, that wick right there, it came down on it. There was some form of liquidity rate, maybe in a lower time frame, but it rated some form of liquidity and then really started to expand. So nice reaction right there. Oh, it seems like SPY's finally moving. There we go. But well, GRT actually might want some smoke here. We'll see. But so nice reaction off this refined zone. So what we want to see here is a 15-minute high get taken with displacement. And for this, I want to actually go by structure. We don't have that occurring yet for me. Actually, we could use this. Never mind, because I didn't see this didn't get taken right there. So you do have it there. So then I'm just going to use this last candle, and I'm going to refine this on a 5-minute. Haven't been playing as much supply and demand entries recently. This one's kind of fickle because it seems like this was already mitigated. So I'm wondering why price came back down again. Not really the cleanest setup, because you see, yes, technically a high did get taken because we came up, pushed up. This is a more aggressive plotting of highs and lows. So I'm gonna chill on it, but I do like the potential reversal. I almost want to see this get taken, so I'm gonna set an alert here. So after that, I would look for a 5-minute confirmation entry. Main thing I want to see too is just displacement, because yes, we are in a potential reverse zone, daily order block, this and that. I get it, and I could see us coming up a little more, if we start to reverse. But I still want to see that displacement where we have a little bit clearer, uh, I guess, footprint of institutional involvement. So I'm going to do AVEX next. Somebody said something about, what's up, Smoker? Smoker said something about Sheeb, and then Adeliki has a question. If we don't see a liquidity grab, should we expect a liquidity raid?
Yeah, check out SPY.
Yeah, is it railing?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So to answer that question, oh nice, we have already almost cleared 2 TPs. To answer this question, okay, a liquidity grab and a liquidity raid are the same thing. From what I think, they're just different terminology. I see people call what I call a raid, they'll call it a grab. So there might be a little confusion there. I could be wrong. Maybe you're talking about something else. I don't want to, but there's just, with smart money, there's so many different there's so many different terminologies that it can get confusing. But if a liquidity grab doesn't occur, like for instance, if you break a high or break a low, and you see no signs of smart money buying up those stops, then you can always look for the next area of liquidity, because it might be drawing to that. Okay, it's TP2 before I can type. It was a nice little morning trade. See what I was saying about how it can get choppy. Like, see how we came up and it cleared all these highs, and we saw some, and this is a good little study case. And this is why, price is price and orders are orders. So whenever price moves from one area of liquidity to another, it's just playing ping pong with where there are orders. So for instance, we came down to this fair value gap. We determined that there were orders here because we got a break of the structure with displacement. So the market saw an inefficiency between supply and demand so large that it had to rush to where there wasn't an inefficiency. Where was that? Equal highs and an imbalance. Now, these are probably algorithmic orders that were input to raid and push price into these areas. So there wasn't much left behind. Those have already been closed because they don't intend to continue to push price that direction. So once price comes up into it, we see an impulsive move away, another impulsive break of structure telling us it's going down to where? The next liquidity objective, which is the fair value gap. Now that we took that out, where is it going? The highs. And once you see a reaction above one of these areas with displacement, then you can determine that we're seeking the opposing liquidity. It's really not as complicated as a lot of these gurus and teachers want to make it seem. It's just price is doing whatever it needs to do in order to move, because without orders, price is not going to move. It would just sit there. So that's what smart money is doing, is they're manipulating liquidity in the form of, retail or a lot of times institutional stop losses, because there is liquidity above this, above this, above that. There's liquidity in these imbalances, and price is just drawing towards it. And that's why on the daily chart, we use the higher time frames to determine where we think price is drawing to on the grand scheme of things. And then from there, that's where we can determine or build our daily bias and the narrative that is taking place. And you can do it on any time frame, but I recommend, paying attention to the higher time frames more. Nice little morning trade though. Nothing crazy. The rest of it, I'm going to hold up to these highs. If we make it there today, we'll see. It's always fun to call a trade live because you guys can actually see, what I'm looking at and exactly what I was thinking. So a liquidity rate before the POI and a liquidity rate at the POI. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. So like, say if like there's a, sorry, I completely misunderstood that. So say, let's say here's the POI, and let's say this is actually a really good question. So everybody needs to pay attention to this, because this is a problem that I had whenever I started smart money and trading supply and demand. So this is why I tell people not to get too black and white. So let's just say we have two scenarios. We have scenario A, where price has kind of front ran the zone and then comes into our POI. So we've got a liquidity rate. So here, you're going to see that first stop hunt, right? That low is almost always going to be taken, and it kind of has to in order to give you a good entry, right? So, if otherwise you'd have to come all the way up here. But now, if price is coming into a POI, let's say like over like this right here, and price hasn't really rated any kind of higher time frame liquidity, I think you're more likely to see that happen. And then oftentimes that means there's another POI down here, or an imbalance just below. Hold on one second, guys. Sorry, one second, guys. All right. So I hope that helped. I hope that, yeah, so you said yes, that's it. Okay, I hope that helped. So, and a lot of times it just comes down to really getting like a deep understanding of what's occurring, because a lot of times, like I said, in this instance, you're going to see, oh, the 4-hour POI, it's just black and white, 15-minute broke structure. But we're failing to realize that, okay, well, why wasn't it a liquidity rate? Smart money, usually will run liquidity. Like, let's look left. Maybe this POI you're looking at on the next time frame down is a very clear POI where the impulse move really began. And that 4-hour candle might be really big. And then now, while you may have good psychology and be able to execute both of these, you take the loss here and then you execute here and make it up, but you didn't have to take this loss. And it just comes from I think that requiring a liquidity raid in your trading plan is pretty good. I like it because it gives you a less probability of being stopped out because that has already happened. You know what I mean? That's why with indices are brutal, like absolutely brutal. I wait for a liquidity rate after equity open, like every time, because if you see the little like bull run that happens right at open, often gets. I mean, like everybody that just is watching their screen and they're just like buy stops under here, which a lot of people don't necessarily have stops there. Maybe they're trading options, but let's say they do. Smart money's going to come and clean them. They're going to get cleared almost every. Now, I will say that a lot of times recently, this shit has just been going. Like for instance, yesterday it was just like it's carnage. You just could have waited till 9:30, press buy, and you would have been able to catch the entire move of the day from the bottom. But a lot of times it doesn't happen. What did Nas do? God, Nas moved nice too. But see, that's the thing with me is, I mean, it theoretically would have more room, but it's just at that point where it's like, oh wow. See, that's the thing with US 30. Like, it just didn't even. US 30 moves crazy. It really does. Now, the best way to trade 30, in my opinion, is just trading. It seems like before. Like, look at this. Literally every day before the market, like 8 a.m., 6 a.m. Like that's when the move of the day on 30 happens. A lot of the time. A lot of it. Let me see. Um, a lot of it's just Tokyo liquidity raids. So like for instance, like Tokyo liquidity raid. Yeah, this was a little more than just a liquidity raid. But once you see those Tokyo lows get cleared a lot of the time, like this you didn't. Here was a very good example. If you just watch for that, a lot of the times you're going to be able to catch like pretty clean moves. It doesn't happen every day. Obviously nothing's perfect. And for instance, when it's the opposite direction, like look, liquidity rate to the upside, we had to move down that day. Liquidity rate right there. This was a weird day. Not much movement. Moving crazy. It's going to those equal highs. Now SPX just needs to follow it. Oh yeah, fuck yeah. This is something else I wanted to go over. This is going to be developing setup too. USD JPY. I want to give it a little bit of time because we did just again we filled this daily imbalance. To me, this would be considered a weak high looking at it from a structural point of view, but I could see some potential moves to the downside just because this massive imbalance that got filled. Now, on the 4-hour it's a strong high, but the daily it's weak. So I'm not going to be picky with this. I really want to see structure develop here. I want to get like a 15-minute minimum break. So we got that, and I really want to see all the time frames go bearish within that. So any imbalance. Oh, I didn't really worry about that. Actually, it might be giving it. Still has some of the 4-hour imbalance. It's not really seeing massive displacement, really. Like it seems like the supply came in here. And if we look at the 15-minute, yeah, we got to break a structure, but as soon as we hit this, we kind of wick back up pretty hard. It's an iffy one for me. I'm gonna let it develop. I may miss out on it. We'll see, but might get some tonight during Asia with this pair. It moves pretty nicely during Asia, but I'm gonna be patient with it. But it is giving structural confirmation, but just not as enough clear levels for me that have been broken. or met, not broken, I should say. Like the 4 hour, we haven't really reached up into here. The daily, we haven't, or no, it was the 4 hour, the 1 hour and the 4 hour. I'm sorry, we haven't reached up into where the supply really was entered or injected in the market. Somebody said, my reason of asking is we have a 1 hour order block on Bitcoin, but I can't identify liquidity, an area of liquidity. I guess you're saying before it. Like right here, is this what you're talking about? For one, it kind of already got tapped. Like this is already mitigated by this candle. In my opinion, any orders that were here got mitigated here. So if anything, it would have been here, and that's already been violated. So I wouldn't pay it much money. Like again, for me, I'm pretty short biased on Bitcoin as of right now. I mean, I wouldn't short it right here, but I wouldn't be personally. I wouldn't be really like hunting for longs, because yeah, there might be an order block, but you might just like, for instance, let's say if we were in an order block right now, like let's just imagine we're in an order block here, and you get a 5-minute confirmation, and you long right here. Well, it can literally just turn around on you right there. You see what I mean? Because you know the order flow, the institutional order flow is bearish, so we're seeing that displacement with breaks of structure to the downside, and there's orders most likely all up in here that when price comes up, we might see a reversal. Now, it's not guaranteed you'll see a reversal, of course, but you know, once the institutional order flow is bearish, meaning that we're seeing lows taken with displacement, because like for instance, the lows get taken, price comes into this the imbalance, there's orders remaining, pushes us down. The lows get taken, price comes up into these lower time imbalances. What happens? Lows get taken. You see what I mean? So that's like an institutional order flow looking bearish. Okay. Also, somebody just I guess asked the same question. Would I consider the lit grab and market structure break on the 1 minute as a condition to look for an entry? I mean, don't get me wrong. Like you could play it potentially, but you have to understand, like, you know, just because there's an entry doesn't necessarily mean that there's a great exit. So, for instance, in this scenario, for me, I mean, the only break of structure that it really had displacement for me was like up here. There might have been something like a 3-minute, I think you said. It really didn't come back into an imbalance. I mean, I see it. I could see it push up, definitely. But, you know, where would I see it to? First, I'll just draw and when you're playing liquidity rates, it's really important not to try to target. If you're using external liquidity, target internal liquidity. So, like, for instance, if you're using a liquidity raid, try to find a price delivery array, like a fair value gap or something, you know, in this impulse move that just happened. To me, I would look at, you know, it's finicky because you know you do have a high right here. You also have a fair value gap right here. So it might be one that I would look at like, you know, is it worth it? You know, something maybe to test and like learn from it. You know what I mean? Because it's like the first target. Well, actually, it's not terrible if you held to here. Now, this is a finicky one to be honest, because you know it is the R is good for me for liquidity raids, but uh that's where I would like to take it. Just the first liquidity target at a premium in this range. The impulse move that just happened. Like whatever impulse move caused the liquidity raid. You know, because oftentimes prices is like we were just saying, whenever we have institutional order flow that's bearish, we're just looking for price to come rebalance smart money's books and then seek the sell side liquidity. Now, how do we confirm that that's not the case? A break of structure on the high time frames with displacement. And that's how you can look at structure from a more institutional perspective than rather just highs and lows. Because oftentimes you'll see that that narrative goes against sometimes what a basic structural perspective would look like. Seems like SPX doing nice. There we go. Yeah, those of you guys that are in SPY, I don't know how many people. I feel like a lot of people don't really trade MetaTrade in some of the server. I mean, most people on Binance and stuff. But well, I honestly like MetaTrader better. I know that sounds weird. I'm just used to it now. Nice move coming into lunch too. I mean, it was pretty strong coming into the lunch. US 30 clear him yet? Nope. See, Nas, dude, the stocks are starting to just give that up only vibe. I hate being like that, but like, fuck, bro. Like, at least for a little bit, because this kind of reaction here, like, you know, again, I want to see the closure of this daily candle and then how the next daily candle starts to open and what kind of price action we see. But, you know, for instance, if we close a candle looking anything like this, or especially an up candle, and then tomorrow we start to see price seeking the sell side or immediate expansion, I would look for like almost 13,950s. It's wild, man. That little pullback you're seeing right there is that expected little profit taking right there above these highs. So again, it's just prices bouncing between areas of liquidity. And any one of them, you can see a major reversal. You really never know for sure. That's how we confirm them with the lower time frames. Also, I'm glad that helped you out. And honk, let's look at Phil. Or file coin. I always call it Phil. Seems like it reacted pretty impulsively off of this, somewhere up in that region. Generating liquidity. I mean, it's kind of just consolidating here. I would look at these equal lows somewhere in this imbalance. Like that would be where I'd be forming my narrative around, if you will. This imbalance looks very nice. You know, I actually set an alert for this. I'm not going to be day trading it, but like for instance, like that. If I'm looking at this, I'm going to be more short bias. Now I will say it's consolidating, kind of, you know, just moving. I guess not at equilibrium. It's kind of just consolidating. I mean, I don't know. It may not end up breaching him because, yeah, I don't know. I would look for if we get a spring under this and then an immediate break structure to the upside, like buckle up. That shit is going straight to fucking $10, if not higher. But yeah, that's kind of where I would be at on Filecoin. I would wait for that though. I'll set an alert for it. Somebody said starting watching your videos earlier and I'm hooked. Great job. Awesome. For real, thanks. That means a lot. Makes my day to see stuff like that. Helps me out too if you want to hit the like button. I sound like a fucking YouTube. I guess I am a YouTube guy now, huh? But I don't want to be like other YouTube guys that are douchey. But it does help me a shitload. Like when you guys comment, when you like everything, it helps like insanely. I never realized it, but I started actually working on trying to be optimized, I guess be the word, and it makes a huge difference. YouTube algorithm is crazy, especially with live streams. Like for instance, when you guys start commenting, I'll start seeing people pop in from different, and I can tell it's not people that are in the server or are from Twitter or anything. It's from the browse feature because I can see it. I don't know. This looks fire though. If we like I said, if we clear all these lows and then you see a displacement to the upside, fucking Sailor's accumulating. Sailor holds a shitload of this. I'm pretty sure. I want to say I know that Grayscale does too. Or is it? My mind went blank. Is it Grayscale or is it like a different? Yeah, thank you, Adeliki, for real. Adeliki's an OG. You've been here a lot of the time, so I really appreciate you. Let's see. I'm getting pings. Forex chat. No, it's something else. I don't know why. I turned my notifications off for Discord one day on my fucking PC, and then now it like literally like won't show. It doesn't pop on my screen. I have to like go to my Windows thing. AVAX. I'm so sorry. Are you still in here? Yeah, you are. AVAX. I'm bad about that. ADD. Look at the weekly. No. This is odd because, for instance, see how we moved past. Or is it past? It's kind of like right on. No, it is past. So see how we moved past the equilibrium of like the mean threshold of the body. So that if this was, I was looking at like a daily like institutional order block, I wouldn't want it to go above that on the day on this time frame. So if it goes higher, it tells me that price might want higher. So I'm gonna mark this high. I'm not gonna say it's our draw or anything, but I'm gonna mark it. And I usually wouldn't look at that, but it tells me there might be some stops up in that area. Also, you've got this massive imbalance up here. I wouldn't really pay that too much mind yet. Anywhere really in this region could potentially be a nice buying opportunity. But that's what it seems like to me that price is drawing to, is that down in here, coming back down into a discount. SPY doing? I'm gonna go back to it. I just want to see. Okay, it's pushing again. I'm just gonna set alert for this. So for AVAX, as with a lot of crypto, I think it could see some retracement. I would look anywhere in this imbalance here under these lows. So like I would look to target the sell side, and let's just see in the low time frames how that narrative looks. So for me, it doesn't look as clear as Bitcoin, and there are still some. No, I got wicked. It did. Never mind. Yeah, I actually looks pretty bearish. So like, see how in the high time frames we rated that high, and then price kind of consolidated, and then we got that displacement break of a low. And then what happened? Price came up, fair value gap, pushed down. So now we're starting to see that institutional order flow. This is actually super clean this morning. We're starting to see that institutional order flow take place. See what I mean? Now, push up here, break of a low, then you have another area, but you see that the expansions are kind of like dampening, I guess you'd say, or they're losing momentum. So, you could look for it. Now, every time you get, now somebody's asking a liquidity raid earlier, so it's like, bam, liquidity raid. Anonymous said they took the SPY trade with me on Bitcoin. You demon. That's not how that works. I mean, you're not wrong. Bitcoin does move with indices, but that's not a. Don't do that all the time. That's not how it always works. Because I'm not gonna lie, I've justified a Bitcoin long before because that, and then I was like, "What are you doing?" And it just completely did not play out. But for instance, like here when we're looking at institutional order flow, we're seeing the displacement of the downside. So every time that happens, when there's that massive expansion, we know, and maybe some do, some don't, but what these imbalances, we're looking at it like there's big money orders in this area. So we don't know where. The way we do it, or the way we confirm that, is with a break of structural downside. We got it right there with displacement. So then it's the same thing. So you could have entered here, and then look, once we pipped whatever low we took over here, there's probably some lows over here, or maybe an imbalance. We came back up to where of the impulse move into a premium. Now, back here, it came close to a premium. Seemed like the higher time frame impulse move was this. We're on a 15-minute, like we're on a 4-hour, but price came back in after that into that premium area. And that's where we know that smart money sells from a premium. So, you know, if we're looking down here, and you could have maybe caught a long off of this down here, right? And how do you confirm that? Well, on the low time frames, like this 15-minute, price got a break of structure. What did it leave behind? Fair value gap. Now, it wasn't the craziest risk to reward, and that's what I was saying earlier, is that these trades, they don't always provide something that should be taken theoretically. You know, it's not a mandatory requirement that you take a trade off every liquidity rate, but you can use them as case studies, because if you get one right and you start to get a feel for it, then when the risk reward is there, then you start to be able to capitalize off it. Like for instance, down here, and a lot of times I will say, like here, I like this because people got, a lot of early traders got liquidated here. So look, we had price come under it. People that wanted to force a trade, they looked at that like displacement, but we look at it because we didn't get a closure. I could just liquidity raid. Once liquidity is rated, right, we push down with a break of structure, and we come down for that sell side. It's just the algorithm targeting different areas of liquidity. Now, once we have equal lows, price whips that. Now you're still not really getting displacement. But look, where would the target even be at? If you were to take a long off this liquidity rate, it would just be somewhere in here. So it's like maybe the first high above it. So it's kind of like, sometimes trading against the trend, it might be there, but it's like, why? You know what I mean? It's better sometimes to just, but study it. I do encourage you guys, study that shit. Always study it. And Slim, yes, I'm gonna look at Gala here in a second. But here on the 1 hour, if anything, but guess what would be probably the better risk reward? If price kind of moseys up in here and then we get a nice break of structure to the downside, fair value gap entry, target the lows. You see, I mean, that's where you're, trading with the institutions is better. Now you can identify what they're doing and try to like catch the round trip, I guess. But and sometimes it's like you can get lost in that cycle of like feeling like you have to trade, or like you're watching charts all the time. There's always going to be a trade there. There will be. Now whether it's a good trade, a winning trade, a losing trade, this that, that's all a game of probabilities. But even if the probability is on your side, it looks like it wants to go for it right now. But even if the probability is on your side, it's better to wait for the higher risk to reward, because we know that not every trade we take is going to be a winner. So you want to make sure when you're taking trades that it's like business deals. Not every business deal is worth your time. I'll look at SPY one more time. God, straight, just play a bit pump right there. The 1 hour looked crazy. What was I even gonna say? Oh, Gala. Need more coffee. Gala has me, man. Gala had me sad, bro. I wanted it to come down farther, but it did not. But it did hit the target. It seems like it's reacting pretty nice off this. And honestly, I'm not one to short Gala just because it's a fucking madman coin. It moves crazy, but like in all honesty, it doesn't look terrible. I'll entertain the thought of it. That would just sound so wrong to short Gala. I know people would be like, "What the fuck? This dude's shorting Gala?" I think it could come up though. I'm gonna be like as picky as picky can be with that, just because, like I said, it's a madman coin. So we'll see. I'm not gonna force anything. I'll just play supply and demand confirmations. But that's what I would see, because if you notice the reason, again, we're looking at a daily chart now, and this is how we're going to get our really big bias. So what do we see? A high getting taken. Is price moving impulsively off of it? Yes. Is price in an imbalance where those orders may reside from the first time smart money decided they wanted to push price down? Yes. So you got kind of our check. So now let's get onto the low time frame. Not even really a low time frame, but a lower time frame. 4 hour. Did we get a break of structure with displacement? Now this one's finicky. That's why I'm kind of look at all that. It's just liquidity getting absorbed. right? We didn't close a candle under it, but we did break a low if, there was a lot of displacement here. But that could be looked at as a sign of weakness. And the reason I want to use a structural confirmation is because we very well could be distributing, and you see that final liquidity rate, or the UTAD, from a Wyckoff perspective. So I wouldn't force it at all. This one let develop. It seems like it's probably going to go. I'm guessing SPY's pushing because it's bringing everything with it. Yep. And again, that's what we've been saying with damn, I guess it didn't hit it somehow. I'm just gonna go ahead and, do I have Gala on here? I think I took it off because it was too much space. Kind of just cycle out my watch list for crypto. But specifically what I'd be looking for here is a 15-minute break of structure with displacement. So it would take some time to develop, unless we just somehow broke that. Then it's like, Jesus. But you look for some kind of structure to form, break a structural displacement, return, 5 minutes, same thing. I probably wouldn't go farther than 5 minutes on Gala. You guys can see, if you've been spending enough time watching, everything that you do, you can just layer it. It's just a formula that you apply to different data sets, and you use the smaller data set in the context of the higher data set. So, if you are looking to apply your entry model on a 1 minute, well, you probably should have applied it on a daily, a 4-hour, and maybe a 1 hour or a 15-minute. And you're just using that 1 minute to refine that narrative that you've built based off of the higher time frame. And it gets really easy to get lost in the appeal of, high R because the 1 minute. But a lot of times, whenever you're using the 1 minute and you're not using everything else, you're this guy and this guy getting liquidated. That's what that is. And you're you're playing yourself with the same concepts you're trying to use to trade. Another coin that did exactly what we wanted but never came back was fucking oh, it did come back. I guess I just didn't set an alarm. I was lacking. Oops. That sucks. Sorry. Well, we'll kind of go back and recap. So we talked about this on stream. We had this daily high, that these equal highs that I said would get ran. I think we were like right here. They got ran. So then above that level, what do we look for? We look for a 4-hour break to the downside with displacement. We didn't get that here. You could scale in. You could just look for a fair value gap. If we look at the 1 hour, I'm sure we got it. We got right there. So you didn't get on the 4-hour, but you did have a 4-hour fair value gap that was massive. So we can look, for instance, if I have a massive push on the higher time frames, well, I know we probably broke structure on the lower time frames. So I know that the reasoning behind me looking for these POIs is to find where institutional orders lie. So if I think there's institutional orders in this fair value gap already because of how big it is, then I go to a 1 hour. Okay, we got a structural shift right there. And after that, look what we had, a liquidity rate. And this is why I was saying earlier, don't play you can play this first one right here. So like we were saying, here, I scared the shit out of me. I was way louder than I wanted to be. We have this, initial tap, right? Was there a lot of displacement moving into it? Did it look like a liquidity rate? Not really. Was there a trade here? Probably. Where did you take it? Hopefully back down just into a, internal area, because I wouldn't have looked at targeted those. Maybe you left a runner, you know what I mean? But there wasn't enough displacement, and we also hadn't rated liquidity, because if smart money wants to take price here, it has to get enough fuel to do so. Now, let's just say that our orders are all in here, and price comes up. Now it hits, maybe let's just say they have 10 orders. This is just totally for explanation. It's probably far more complicated than this. But let's say they had 10 orders. Let's say there was enough liquidity here to where 5 of them filled. So what are they going to do? Now they have more liquidity. They just created enough liquidity for this order, this order, this order that's going to come up. And now there is buying activity here because people are getting stopped out of their shorts. So that is a buy. So whenever they get stopped out, the exchange is now looking to pair those orders with other orders. Guess what other orders are residing? all that institutional order flow in the displacement break of structure. So, and after that, what happens? We come down and we target the opposing liquidity. And we didn't catch it, so sorry for that, guys, because that was been a really clear. Again, just trying to watch too many things. I should have set alerts for that, but oh well. Happened at like midnight anyway, so I wouldn't have probably caught it. That makes me feel better about it. But really, I would look, at this point on the daily chart. I mean, this low right here stands out to me, but really that low. I'm gonna set an alert or an alert. I was gonna say an alarm and alert at the same time. An alert, but I'm gonna set an alarm for that low. You could watch this, but I'd hold more interest down there. XMR is like God coin. This shit's crazy. It seems like it wants this up here, but it could have just be right on this liquidity. I mean, it does stay in its own lane, though, I will say. And you are, this actually may end up being an opportunity. So this, look at this, and what I'll show you. I'm looking at. Price came up. Okay, actually, never mind. Take it back. I thought it closed. The naked eye is deceiving. Sometimes I thought it closed above, so I'm good on that. You could see some kind of move up, but I would probably just look at it to fill some of these imbalances you made along that way. So for instance, for me, it would be like, okay, well, let's measure this impulse move. Okay, look what we have right there. And, you could say this is a flip, or not a flip, but a supply zone maybe. I mean, I would just look at the fair value gap. Guess where it's at? Right at equilibrium. It's crazy, right? It's almost like there's, people manipulating this. It's coincidental. You're coincidental. But, sheep, I gotcha. Came back down into I think this is what we're looking at. I still want this imbalance here. I have an alarm set for, so that's, if anything, that's where I would pay attention to, is in this area to target those equal highs. So nothing's really changed. I don't know if you might not have been here yesterday. Basically, what I was looking at is these equal highs and this imbalance. I like that a lot, and it seems like price is clearly drawing to something and didn't reach it, so it formed equal highs. Then we also formed a 4-hour fair value gap with some fractal demand, which we go down to a 1 hour, and there's an order block. So, with a price move down on here, we could possibly see something going up to target those highs. Looks like SPY hit the target. There we go. Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Trek Study. That was a nice trade for sure. Yep, target hit on SPX. Well, we did it live, guys. I'm gonna look at Aave. Damn, we've been on here for a minute. It's been a good stream. I haven't even. That's whenever I know everything is dope, because I don't even realize. Oh, yeah, everyone's eating. Fuck yeah. Let's go. Let me post this to the server and then I'll go ahead and do Aave. Yeah, if you guys, especially you guys that that got this shit for on the stream, definitely smash that fucking like button. I don't even feel bad to ask. Oh, okay, guys, I'm gonna hop off here. I forgot I actually have something that I need to be doing right now. I had somebody I was supposed to meet with like 20 minutes ago. You guys are making me degen, but let me look at Aave super fast, and then I will off here. Aave. So, how long have I been trading using smart money concepts ICT strategy? It's like 2 years, a little, something like that. Has it been? No, it hasn't been full 2 years, like a year and some months, year and a half or something, since I've been like fully using it. I was using it with harmonics for a while too. Honestly, the weekly on Aave looks fire, but weekly on Aave looks like it wants this high right here. Let's look at the daily though. So the daily, it doesn't look bad. It's like a lot of these alts look so much better than fucking Bitcoin. It's like ridiculous. So we're in this imbalance, but the I mean, it's moving nicely out of here. Nothing around a 4 out, just kind of consolidating here. But you know, actually, I mean, it moved nicely, but it's still failing to break highs. Like, yeah, there's displacement, but see, like we failed to take a high, right? Came up, failed to take a high, came up. Now we're starting to engineer those equal highs. So we could see a move, but I don't think it's ready yet. If I was watching this though, I'd look for a displacement break a structure to the upside and then confirm, like, you know, using the same fair value gap strategy. But I wouldn't force it because I could see if we don't, if it fails here, I would look for probably these equal lows. That's the next area after that, the next draw I would see. But you're kind of playing around between that, and then you've also got equal highs, so it's like, you know, this one's pretty indecisive. So I would really just determine where, you know, you look to, you know, what, let the market show you its hand. Like, what are the market makers doing here? Are there orders that are being satisfied? Honestly, I will say, you know, it's kind of, you could look at this potentially, and then you have that fair value gap, and price is holding above that. It's one of those to me where it's not super clear. Like, I see the long narrative for sure. Like right here, you know, you have that fair value gap. I can draw. You come down into it, you know, down to that demand candle, and you've definitely filled this imbalance. So you need to see a break of structure with displacement. If it was, you know, if it was meant to be, it would happen. So you kind of got it right there. Left fair value gap. Price did come down, and you know, I'm actually going to scale in a little bit more here. That was where that break was. So now, you know, you came back down. It seems like there was, you know, this was that initial displacement. Yeah, I don't know. It's, see, this is the problem with me, is you know, after this, I don't want to see us come back down and start to take out lows like that. Now this, well, okay, so I don't want to confuse me. These lows getting taken, I shouldn't have said these. Like this spring right here, that would be fine if we broke structure, but we didn't, right? So then what happens? We start to get closures down here. So it's that point where it's like, yeah, I mean, I could see it, but it's not clear enough for me. If anything, I could see sell side being manipulated right there, and these orders are kind of the creek's drying up, so to speak, and we might see a push the downside. But it's too indecisive for me. I would just kind of watch it as a case study, but that's just my opinion. You seem like there's a lot of lows. Like retail is looking at all of this like support. Also, thank you too, man. Thank you. Let me see. I feel like I've got a bunch of pings in the Discord. SPA, okay, yeah, that shit just railed. Wall of gain, fuck yeah. Somebody asked where can I trade? Oh, I said I stopped talking every time SPX went up. Where is it? Hold on, I just lost. Oh, I was just talking about something, then just would talk about TPs. Yeah, nice little quick workday, guys. I appreciate you all. I will see you guys tomorrow. It'll be an evening stream. We'll kind of recap our weekly bias. Again, I think we're at a lot of key levels. I don't think we need to force anything. I mean, I know it seems like up only. I won't lie, it kind of does with indices and everything. We've breached our liquidity target. We've been talking about this for quite some time. Those of you who have been with me for a while know we've had these highs on our watch list. And it's just like we had the highs on NASDAQ, just like we have the highs on US 30. So at this point now, we're getting to those objectives. We're coming into those potential reversal zones. So we don't want to force anything. At this point, for me, this is how I kind of navigate between markets, and I'll close on this. Once I get to these areas, I want to get daily candles to show me what we are drawing to, because I want to be in a market where I can tell what's going on, or at least where I think I can. I'm wrong sometimes for sure, but I want to be participating in a market where, I know I can get a grasp on what I think is going to happen, and I do that with the higher time frames, and then I frame my trades intraday off of that. But for where we're at on indices, I think we need another day or two. All the indices are now above it. NOS looks strong, and I know it kind of sounds redundant because to me, I want SPX and US 30 to still prove themselves, so to speak. NOS looks like it's pulling back up somewhere probably into the premium of this impulse move. So, and the reason I use that is because this is the gap that we pushed up, price kind of retraced, moved down. So I would look, somewhere around there. Maybe let's see on a 4-hour. I'm actually interested in this now. There's some supply there. That's how it usually happens. Again, it's almost like people are manipulating this, right? But yeah. So anyways, guys, I appreciate the hell out of all of you. I will see you tomorrow evening. And if you got any questions, you know how to get at me. Peace.